Pajama game, da. Pajama game, da. Pajama game, da. Pajama game, da. Pajama game. Okay, that's it. That's all I know. That's
wow.
A little catchy tune.
A little jaunty jingle to get us started.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Oh, all of us just woke up from our
winter slumber.
Our long winter nap, yeah.
I in my kerchief and
Mama in her cap.
Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap. Is that what it is? Anyway, we just settled down for a long winter's nap, but we're up now. We're awake.
Well, we're still in our pajamas.
We haven't changed out of our pajamas yet.
Now, can you describe to the listening audience what pajamas you're wearing today?
I'm currently not wearing pajamas, but RJ did buy fancy pajamas for our Christmas this year.
I did.
Was it from Land's End?
Land's End. Yeah. Not like super fancy, but like nice,
nice pajamas.
Yeah.
Well, a full set. Are you're a matching pajamas family now? Is that
I have a green set and RJ has yours is blue.
Yeah. And they're both striped.
Coordinated but not matching.
Yeah.
We used to just because your mom, hi Nan, she gives you pajama bottoms for Christmas, right?
She used to. Mm-hmm. Every year, and we'd open them Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm. I still have mine.
We were never pajamas at Christmas. I mean, we wear pajamas to open presents.
Because you guys were your nudist family. So you guys all just
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I remember you talking about that.
There's no reason for that. Rita got us all calendars with pictures of Minnesota this year, and mine broke.
It's a sign.
It's like a hanging wall calendar, and it the little hole, it made too big of a hole, and it just fell right down.
No, not the hole.
That's why you got to do the spirally one, so then it has a little.
Like a desk calendar.
Oh,
you mean the ones where
Rita, take notes for next year.
Like we have up here.
Like a wall calendar.
Rita, you got to start shelling out the big bucks. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's my mom's problem, not spending enough money at Christmas.
Well, my dad every year makes a family calendar. And if I happen to be at their place during Christmas, then I'm burdened by making the calendar. So this year I picked all the photos. But he does a wall calendar too.
Wow.
With people's birthdays.
Custom photos. Wow. That's cool.
Well, that's not what this is about. Welcome back to Showgays, a Cinemusical podcast. We are happy to be back. We can't wait to talk about one of the greatest musicals ever made, The Pajama Game.
Yeah.
Molly, before we get into it, I was curious, how you are. A little update from the life of Molly, and also the mailbox.
Me? You're asking me about me?
Me? I mean, I'm sure none of our listeners are thrilled about the direction that America is taking. So I don't feel there's any need to. You never know. If you're thrilled about the federal government right now, write in. I'd love to hear. To hear that perspective.
Yeah. Any Doge fans, please write in.
Sound off, Doge fans. I also shared this with the boys before the podcast started. I did sprain my ankle this weekend out of San Francisco and subsequently hurt myself very badly. So we're good though. We're sitting now. We're chilling. We're sitting.
Because we've taken a few months off doesn't mean that this still isn't Showgays, the medical maladies podcast.
Yes,
so don't you fret. We're still doing that.
Exactly. Don't worry, we are still in our 30s and we still have many maladies to update you on.
RJ, are you good? How are you?
I'm good. What's new so far? What's been happening since last time we talked, which was Wicked Part 1.
It was Wicked.
They won 2 Oscars for production design and for hair and makeup. So that's something. No, it wasn't hair and makeup.
They won
costumes. Production design and costumes. The Substance one. Another Cinemusical. The Substance.
No.
That was a joke. Well, thanks, Adam, for.
I don't want my mom to be like, oh, there's a musical out. I should watch The Substance. I don't think my mom would like The Substance.
No. Yeah, that's it so far. Working.
Guys, this isn't a hard question to answer. I don't know why both of you were like, oh, me?
We're out of practice. We took a break.
You have 3 months of content to tell
No one's asked us how we've been doing for the past 3 months.
You're the only people in my life.
Molly's just been sitting and staring at a wall for 3 months.
Yes, that's why she got her ankle sprained, because it was the first time she stood up.
She's walked. Yeah.
all winter. How about you, Adam?
Oh, thanks for
you just wanted us. You just wanted to ask us so we could ask.
Well, because I'm ready. I have things to talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
So, my last day at my job is tomorrow, as of recording. So by the time this comes out, I do not work in my old job anymore. RJ and I are going all in. We're going all in on the YouTube nonsense. So that's crazy to say. And so
we're also making Molly join us as well.
I'm resigning from my job.
We can talk about musicals 24/7.
Yeah.
7 days.
20, which is a full live stream.
We just keep watching musicals until we've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you promote your show content? What do you call it? Your content umbrella that has caused this takeoff.
So obviously we're all on the Ampliverse, which is
where
we're hosted here. YouTube.com/the Ampliverse. RJ and I have a successful podcast. I never know what to call it.
It's technically a podcast.
Podcast called Boys Love, where we talk about K-pop, K-dramas, dating shows. We just recap if you like The Pit Stop from Drag Race, it's that, but for not Drag Race.
Yeah. It is funny. We will get a lot of you guys should do Drag Race, and we're like, there are a million other gays, and most of them have been queens on the show, and they each got a podcast,
right,
talking about Drag Race.
They have a lot more knowledge about the world of drag than any of us do. Yeah.
So we do that, and if you like that content on the YouTube, you can check us out at patreon.com/boyslove, where we have even more exclusive content to share and bonus stuff and blah blah blah. So that's what we're doing. But also,
and we're starting to do productions on the Ampliverse. We filmed a web series.
I directed a web series.
Adam directed a web series. Really putting his cinematic eye that he's so eloquently flourished.
It's really hard to make movies. It's really hard to make TV.
Yeah.
Something I honestly, obviously knew that, but I will say my brain had to work on so many different levels all at once that I was like, it was like the most tired I've ever been after leaving the shoot, because I was like, you're just thinking about
you just use your brain
all of it.
like at max.
Yeah.
Well, will Adam be more sympathetic to the makers of the movie musicals this season?
These people are getting paid millions of dollars.
And Adam didn't get paid at all.
I didn't get paid a dime. So.
Well, very proud of you boys. I shall be keeping my full-time job as long as the economy allows me to, but I'm very happy for you and your success.
So much.
Tariffs start today as of release, I believe, April 1st.
So, wow.
Happy Tariff Day, everybody.
Also, my nephew's birthday.
He's an April Fool's baby?
A real jokester, born on April Fool's. Yep.
Isn't the tariffs
yeah.
The one I saw on NPR today was the foreign cars, right? 25%.
Well, I don't think you saw it on NPR.
Well, yeah.
Because it's a radio show. Sorry.
Oh my God.
This cannot become a show where we update each other about what our understanding of the news is on tariffs.
Hey guys, what are the current tariffs now? Where are we getting eggs from?
Write in if you can explain the current tariffs to us.
Write in if you can explain a tariff.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Period.
Because a lot of voters didn't, so still don't. So.
All right. Do you want me to read the mailbag?
Yes, I would love for you to read the mailbag, Molly, please.
Okay. Firstly, I want to say that we got so many lovely letters in the time that we were off season. And we did get many, many suggestions. And I want to let you know that we used those suggestions. We had a planning meeting before recording today's episode, and we used those suggestions as best we could. We tried our best to take a lot of those suggestions while also balancing it with things like we try to balance time periods. We try to make sure we have some international movies in there, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you all for your suggestions. I wish we could take every single one. And the ones we didn't take this season, they are all recorded and written down for potential further seasons as well. So I won't read all of the suggestions aloud. So Michael writes, "Hi, Gays and Molly. Love your podcast and your tangents. Wondering if any of you have..." Okay. Skipping this is a suggestion that I believe we are taking.
Michael just high-fived himself.
Nice.
Should I preview it, or should I'm just going to say thank you, Michael, for your suggestion. We're excited for
I don't even remember.
I don't even remember.
So good job, Michael.
Okay. Nicole wrote in with multiple suggestions and loved this message that Nicole said that our podcast in part was an inspiration for them to take a theater class on Tuesday nights. God. They've been in love with Broadway musicals since they were 11, and they're turning 35 next year. And next year they're doing John Waters' Hairspray with the part of Amber.
Oh my God.
So congratulations to Nicole. 35.
You're doing Amber at 34? Wow. I'm jealous. You have to be stunning. I just know you're gorgeous.
Yes, we can feel how gorgeous you are through your email. All right. Auburn wrote in. First time writer. Pronouns they, them. Longtime fan of the Ampliverse productions. For whatever reason, this was the last show I started out of the large catalog. I can't imagine. Is this a niche topic or something? I'm not sure. It's strange that I waited so long because I'm a huge musical lover, both stage and film. I'm a full-time writer, but a part-time baker, and was able to catch up on the podcast from start to finish as I got up almost every day at 3 a.m. to bake the bread. During the Matilda episode, I cried hearing the small snippet of When I Grow Up from the live performance. Molly, I'm with you. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me, Auburn. And then teared up during the discussion of Judy Garland's life in A Star is Born. That was a very sad topic. Thankfully, no one comes in until much later than me. But mostly, I have to stifle my laughter to avoid truly looking insane. I say, let the laughter flow.
In these dark and hideous times.
Baking bread in laughter, I think, is
the name of my memoir, first of all.
That would be Auburn's memoir.
Yeah. Auburn said, I'm somewhat horrified it took me less than a year to catch up. And now, unfortunately, I'm waiting for the new episodes with the rest of the listeners. While your wait is over.
Voracious listening.
A voracious listener. These episodes have been an absolute joy, but at times shocking. My favorite movie musical.
That means shocking.
Shocking.
I'm going to tell you. My favorite movie musical is Singing in the Rain, and I was so heartbroken to find out Gene Kelly was a monster on set.
It's okay. They all were back then. That was like the whole thing. They were terrible.
Auburn, just feel better that they were all monsters. He was a staple in my house alongside Danny Kaye, Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, Cary Grant, and too many people to name. I'm surprised you haven't watched a movie with Marilyn Monroe yet, but her musicals stray towards more movies with music, and a couple of suggestions that maybe we'll take. But the definition has changed, so I would like to give 2 recommendations for the Cinemusical podcast, which I'm going to skip over because we may have taken some of those suggestions. But I do want to say, because I feel that this part is important, I'm going to tell you one suggestion that Auburn made, which was Josie and the Pussycat Dolls, because Auburn said, this was my Cheetah Girls, with this in all caps.
It's just Josie and the Pussycats, by the way.
Yeah, Josie and the Pussycat Dolls is a portmanteau. It's that one All-Stars challenge where they dress up as the portmanteau.
Oh my God, they would. No, that was just me trying to skip around on a paragraph and just filling in missing information in my brain. Auburn says, thank you for providing me with hours of entertainment and lots of laughs. You're welcome, Auburn. Thank you so much for writing in.
And Auburn's book, the trial period is now available. So make sure everyone order. Ooh. We'll send you a copy, Molly.
Is it fiction, nonfiction?
It is a WLWYA.
It's about the Roman Empire. It's just it's a historical look at the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Just how often you heard of an aqueduct?
That's it.
I have heard of an aqueduct.
That's the trial period.
Yeah, it's just that. It's 1,000 pages, but each one says, have you heard of an aqueduct? Lucas wrote in with another recommendation that we may take. We're always happy to hear from you, Lucas.
Well, don't speak for me.
He says, I look forward to the new season. No, we are happy. Don't listen to Adam. I look forward to the new season, and I hope my 3 favorite podcast hosts are doing well on their winter hiatus. I mean,
Molly broke her ankle, so
I broke my ankle, and and then John Kimberly wrote us with an order confirmation for, I'm sure, thousands of dollars to try to fish us for information. So thanks, John Kimberly. Always happy to hear from you as well. I'm going to refer this as spam.
Mark this.
Hold on. Okay, that's done. Yes, block. I did have to, at my job today, call a company because I was like, I just received a very suspicious email from one of your email accounts, and I believe you've had a security compromise. And they called me back and they were like, yes, please don't open that. There's been an issue. So Got to be on your game, everybody.
Well, Adam as a survivor of a cybersecurity attack.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
What happened, Anna?
I don't know. I started getting calls from different people, and one person left me a voicemail that was like, "Hey, I'm just making sure that the link you sent me was real." And I was like, "What?" And then I tried to sign into my email. Like, I ate lunch, and then I tried to sign back into my work email, and it was like, you need to talk to your system administrator. You've been locked out of your account. And I was like, what's happening? And then they were like, oh yeah, you got compromised. We'll let you back in. So they unlocked it, and I went to my sent mail, and I had like 200 emails of like Microsoft OneDrive links, quote unquote, that weren't actually real.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so spooky. And then I saw even like what happened was there were people who replied in real time fast enough to be like, hey, is this real? And whoever the bot, I don't know, just replied yes. And I was like, oh, that's so spooky. I don't like that part.
That was the thing when I got this suspicious link to like a folder that I almost emailed the person, but then I was like, but I guess their email is compromised. So I had to look up the company and their like main phone line because their signature didn't have their phone number in it or anything. I just had to call the main desk. So it's freaky. Rita, please play this for Steve because I did make my parents sign up for a fraud like a newsletter about frauds to stay aware about scams.
Well, when you get to that age.
And my dad has decided he now forwards me everyone making fun of the idea that he would be dumb enough to fall for any of the scams. But I feel it's important to be aware of these things, to be abreast of what's happening.
Well, shall we? Were there any more? Was that it?
Those were the mailbags. I apologize. I think I kept it current with like unread were things that we hadn't read yet on the podcast. So apologies.
Thanks for writing in as always. Molly, guess what? It's more talking from you because you have to do the 1 minute summary of the 1957 movie musical, The Pajama Game in a minute.
Oh my God.
In a minute or less. And your time starts now.
Sid Sorokin boomers his way into a job as a supervisor at the Sleep Tight Pajama Factory, where he falls for the beautiful head of the grievance committee, Babe Williams. Babe is eventually wooed by Sorokin, but they run into conflict as Babe has a leadership role in the union that is fighting for a 7.5-cent additional pay. This comes to a head when the workers protest by slowing down production, and Babe admits to breaking machinery, so Sorokin fires her. Sorokin regrets this and schemes to get the key to the company books by taking out the secretary, Gladys, and stealing her key while she's drunk. This raises the murderous ire of Gladys's on-again, off-again boyfriend, the factory timekeeper Hines, but Sorokin successfully discovers that management has had the 7.5-cent raise on the books for months. Sorokin convinces the factory head to agree to the raise, and he's reunited with Babe.
Great. You have 10 seconds. Anything else you want to say?
Stunning work.
Stunning work.
Perfect. All right.
And everyone celebrated in pajamas.
Yes, there's a little ending sequence in pajamas.
RJ, what is your relationship to the Pajama Game?
Absolutely nothing. This was my first time.
Had you heard of the show?
I knew that there was a musical called The Pajama Game, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Didn't know any of the songs. And when we watched it, I was like, there was one song, I don't remember what it was now, but there was one song that I was like, oh, that's from this.
Hernando's Hideaway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty much it. I knew of the Doris Day. Doris Day, like that's usually one of my go-to, like if I'm feeling a little vintage moment, on like Spotify playlists or whatever.
Her music.
Mid-set.
I'll hit a little Doris Day radio.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A little Rosemary Clooney Doris Day radio, it gets you in the mood.
Yeah.
Molly, how about you?
I also had never seen The Pajama Game. It's one of those, like, I knew it was a thing that most people knew, but I had missed it. I feel like because it's done by a lot of high schools, so a lot of people had been in The Pajama Game. But I did know the choreography for Steam Heat because my high school theater director was she had like mostly a dance background and was a big Fosse fan. So we did a dance show every winter, and she one year had 3 guys do like just this dance sequence to this song. Wow. So I recognized that part, and that was very fun to see again.
Yeah, that was the song that I recognized that I was
Steam Heat?
Wait, yeah, it was Steam Heat. I was like, I did not realize this was from a song. This was from Pajama Game. I did not realize it was about labor.
Yeah. Well, also because it's like it's a performance within the musical, so it's really not connected to the like aesthetics or the plot of the rest of the musical.
Right. Yeah. Adam?
I knew this existed because our high school had like they would design like a wooden poster, not poster, I guess, but a wooden thing with the whatever the spring musical was. This was like before we got there. They stopped doing it by the time we were there, and then they would decorate like the arts hallway with them. So like fun. I think 2 years before I went to Clay, they had done the pajama game, because I remember seeing they wrote the letters as like pieces of articles of the pajamas on the strings. Cute. It was very cute. But I didn't know any of the music. I didn't know the plot at all. I didn't know. I think I knew it took place in a factory. Like, I think I knew it was about like making pajamas, but I didn't realize it was a union show. Like, I was like, oh, it's labor. I was so surprised when it started. And also my hot take is I think this is a better union movie musical than Newsies is my hot take about this whole thing.
Oh, wait. No You're not going to step on Newsies in front of me.
Sorry. So that's I was very charmed by this movie. I didn't really know much. I don't think it's like perfect, and we'll talk about like that, but I feel like it doesn't get probably talked about nearly as much as it should. I don't know. I guess like it's a mid-cent movie musical, and there were so many that like I'm sure it just gets lost in the shuffle, but I didn't feel like this one I was like particularly bothered by like any of the, doesn't really fall into like the trappings of some of the like mid 20th century.
The things that weren't like hitting correctly wasn't such a
sure maybe a man chases a woman around and
with
tries
a knife,
with knives and tries to, fine, maybe that does happen, but it's all for laughs, Molly. Can't we all laugh? Whatever happened to fun?
I think in a world with Carousel in it, obviously this is not the most problematic musical that we've watched. But yeah, there's some stuff that is not ideal, but I think it's all fairly lighthearted in the end. So it doesn't it doesn't feel gross watching it, certainly.
Yeah. They're doing a funny voice while they chase each other.
Exactly.
So, it softens the blow a little bit.
But this is, I'm going to tell you right now, this movie, I guarantee you is going to pop up at the SHOWGAYS for one singular performance. I just have a very strong suspicion.
It's a strong contender for sure.
Really liked one performance, is my guess.
Okay, interesting.
Could you imagine Molly was like, I thought she was bad. I would be like, you suck. We're looking for a third co-host.
I want to know what context you watched this movie musical in.
We watched it in our living room on the couch.
We rented out a local theater.
Wow. We rented out
found a 35 millimeter and played it on the big screen. Just for the two of us.
You know, my friend did that for a birthday this year. The theater on like Diversity, he like rented out a whole thing. You can select from like their library of movies, and then you can just rent it out.
Fun.
Yeah, and then my work did it actually for.
What movie did your friend pick?
Her.
Oh, okay. Well. And we're living through her right now, so I don't know. Just walk outside.
Just walk outside. Everything's AI. And then my work did it, and they rented out Soul, and they had their kids come.
Oh, that's cute.
Do it.
Yeah.
It was cute.
Especially because I don't think Soul ever got a theatrical release, did it?
Yeah, it was like a Disney.
Or like, was it limited because it was the pandemic?
Yeah.
I asked because I watched this on a plane. And so
just to San Fran, back from
San Fran. So I just need everyone to know, in terms of my assessment of it, that you have to have the context of it being a plane movie. It's almost
iPad or phone?
Right, iPad.
Okay, it's a little bigger.
Apple Watch. Yeah. You just watched on your watch.
It's almost exactly the right length for that trip, plus a 30-minute tarmac delay. So it's too long, really, for the full. But with the tarmac time, I had 5 minutes left.
I mean, it's too long.
Amazing.
That's for sure a take on this film, is that it's 20 minutes too long.
But. Yeah. We did watch it on Prime, so we had limited interruptions.
Breaks. I think there was just one.
It was like 2 big breaks. But the breaks were like 2 minutes long, so it was like 4 commercials.
I was able to download it from Prime onto my iPad, and then I didn't have any commercials. So, hack, everybody.
Aren't you special?
So there you go. Tips and tricks, everyone.
Wait, great. Let's get into it. So, this is based on a book from 1953 called 7.5 Cents, written by Richard Bissell. It was just like a little pop book. It was just a little, I don't want to call it a beach read, but this wasn't like the great American novel. It just was a little book that people liked and went up on the New York Times bestseller list.
Was it a real events thing or just a cute,
fully
cute
fictionalized?
Story? Cool.
Mm-hmm. As I looked through the synopsis of the book, I found out that the owner, who is the antagonist of the piece, obviously, he is being swayed by a conservative radio pundit. Isn't that funny? That doesn't
seem relatable.
That's so crazy. That's
just made up. Nowadays. That's just on TV.
Yeah.
Comics, actually. That's just on
That's Archie.
That's Archie. That doesn't happen in real life.
And then we get at the very end, spoiler alert for the end, but Sorokin in the book gets them the raise and retroactive back pay as well as overtime pay. Wow. And then he ends up quitting.
Wow.
And him and Babe go off and, have a romance together.
I was a bit frustrated by Babe's reaction in the end when he's like, I'll give you the 7.5 cents, but you're giving up
you're not getting retroactive
pay. And we know.
And she's like, hey, we won. We did it.
And then the other people are like, well, wait a second. And she goes, no, we won. She's like, do not negotiate anymore. And I was like, Babe, get some more out of this situation, girl.
Yeah. At least she has to read Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal is what she needs to do. Miss Babe Williams. What a name. We need to name our main Art of the Deal main characters like goofy names like Sid Sorokin and Babe Williams again. What are we doing?
Oh, Babe Williams is the good name. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
No, what did you think I meant? Donald Trump? Oh, no. We're not talking about him. We're not talking about him, Molly.
You brought him up.
You bring him up.
Keep.
Yeah.
So the Pajama Game debuts on Broadway the following year.
Wow, quick work.
Music and lyrics by Richard Adler and Jerry Ross. It is also the debut of Bob Fosse's choreo ever for the first time on stage.
Richard Fosse.
Dick Fosse. Well, some knew him as Dick Fosse.
Andrew can't remember what Bob Fosse's name is, so he's always making up like Baba Flea or something. Like he just comes up with different sounds with a B and an F in them.
Yes, this is Bob Fosse's choreography debut. Obviously, there is Steam Heat, which I would say is the most Bob Fosse choreo in the whole thing. But there are parts, even in the movie, where I was like, oh, you can see. I mean, there's there's a lot of really traditional kind of mid-century jazz dance going on, but then there is some wonky hand flaps. You know what I mean?
A lot of this.
And it's just, I went and looked up. He was 28, and I just was like, he had an entire style that he had already started. It's so crazy to me. He is truly so influential in musical theater, and the fact that it wasn't in his mid 40s. He was like, what if we changed it up a little bit? It was from the get go. He was like, I think it's cool to dance weird. Great. I'm so eloquent.
Yeah.
I really should write a book. Really verbose. In the 2006 revival, I did want to note that the song Steam Heat, which is performed by Gladys and two other guys in the movie, they switched it to another character named May. And
May was the other woman in the labor.
She was the larger one.
The larger one. The one who was drinking all the free beers.
She loved the beer. Yeah. And it was the director said well, it's because Gladys technically wasn't part of the union, so she wouldn't have been there.
Said that when we were watching it.
But I don't care. I don't care. Let her perform. Let Gladys have her moment.
Well, I was thinking well, that's nice of her that she wanted to support the union, even though she's, just admin.
Yeah. And Shirley MacLaine, this is the launch of Shirley MacLaine's career because the Carol Haney, who played Gladys in the original production, and she ends up playing her in the film as well. She had, like Molly, injured her ankle. And so she was out for a while. And one of the performances that Shirley MacLaine was understudying for the role, a Paramount director was in the audience and came backstage afterward and signed Shirley MacLaine to a Paramount deal from that performance, which is insane. I genuinely always forget that Shirley MacLaine is she was a Broadway girl before she was a Hollywood girl. It's so crazy to me. So at the Tonys in 1954, whatever year it was, Best Musical, it won. Carol Haney won Best Performance by a Featured Actress in a Musical, and Bob Fosse won for Best Choreography. The Pajama Game, 1957. It is directed by George Abbott and Stanley Donen. Stanley Donen we've talked about because he directed Singing in the Rain. Okay. So we're familiar. Screenplay by George Abbott and Richard Bissell, based on the novel by Richard Bissell. It is produced by George Abbott and Stanley Donen. We're going to hear these names a lot. Stars Doris Day as Babe Williams, Pig in the City. John Raitt as Sid Sorokin. I did not write the character names down, so we're really wishing on a prayer.
Yeah.
Carol Haney, third build, plays Gladys, who has, I would say, is like the fifth most important character in this musical.
I think she's the third most memorable, but
for
how
sure.
Are we defining importance?
I just mean plot structure wise.
Yeah, not as essential plot wise.
I guess she is technically the B couple.
She's the B couple, and it's her key that ends up,
it's her key.
It's her key.
It's her key.
Eddie Foy.
Literal key.
Eddie Foy Jr. plays Vernon Hines.
The knife for himself.
The knife thrower himself. And Barbara Nichols plays Poopsie,
who is not Mabel. She's the one
in every mid-century musical had to why you talk like this? That's
because it'll never get old. It's so funny every time.
Because it'll never get old. It's always funny. The best part is that this musical takes place in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and everyone sounds like they are from New York. It's so funny.
Just use your Poopsie voice.
Cinematography is by Harry Strandling Sr. It's edited by William Zegler.
Music is by Richard Adler and Jerry Ross. Color process is by Warner Color, guys. I gotta mention it. Production company is Warner Brothers. It was distributed by Warner Brothers. Released on August 29th, 1957. Its running time is 101 minutes. And its box office, I don't have a budget, but the box office was $2.5 million. But that says specifically from U.S. rentals, so I just don't know if we have an actual number for the real. I don't know.
I'm sure they did fine. It doesn't feel like a flop to me.
Does not feel like a flop to me.
It feels very commercially sound.
I feel like this was probably just middle of the road. I'm not going to say it was like one of the highest grossing films of the year, but I'm sure it didn't flop.
Yeah. It brought people out.
Doris Day was in it.
Yes,
people were seeing Doris Day films.
Literally.
Okay.
Yeah, people came to see Doris Day for sure.
So I want to talk about quickly. The average garment worker wage in 1954 was $1.25.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And to think that today's minimum wage is only $5 $6 more.
I'm gonna look up an inflation calculator. Hold on. I should have done this ahead of time.
Yeah, because isn't it like 7 something in Illinois? Like the minimum?
The federal minimum wage is $7.25.
Okay.
Still.
Jesus.
Still.
57, right?
Yeah.
54 is the technical year of
that takes place.
Did we ever figure out what the average wage was? The update?
Oh, you know what? Maybe it was me trying to pull that up at the same time. As
why don't I do it? Here, I'll do it.
83 cents. No, it did it now.
Wait.
Huh?
7 cents. Oh, you wanted the full.
Oh, yeah. I wanted
the full wage. Okay.
What's $1.25 now?
Okay, $1.25. 14.83. And then the 7.5 cents would be another 83 cents. So it would get you above $15 an hour.
15. Great. So that would have been
less than you can make working in fast food in California.
True. So in making this film, Warner Brothers agreed that they were going to bring a majority of the Broadway company in order to make this movie. Sorokin was originally offered to Sinatra, who turned it down. And so they then let the John Raitt, who played the original Sid Sorokin, he got to play the film. But then because of that, Janice Page, who played the original Babe Williams, because of the clause being that they had to have 1 star in it, she got booted for Doris Day.
Yipes.
Which she talked about. I mean, she ended up getting another movie musical with Sid Charisse and somebody else. I don't remember what it was called. But I saw a thing about it. But she ends up getting another movie musical quickly after this, and she kind of steals the movie from Sid Charisse and whoever the leading man was in that. So it doesn't go poorly for Janice Page, but obviously it would have been nice for her to play the role she originated.
Yeah.
And then Doris Day, if you think like, oh, well, poor Janice Page, the other thing that sucks is Doris Day was like, I was coming into a group of people that had done like 1,000 performances of the show. And so it was like this well-oiled machine that I did not fit in at all. And she felt really like othered. But she was Doris Day, so I don't really feel that bad for her.
I'm sure she was fine.
She was a household name, so.
Do you remember how I've talked about how on IMDb trivia, people can just write anything and sometimes you will get someone who you know is a gay man writing this? I'm going to read this trivia fact to you.
Okay.
On the Wikipedia. This is from the Wikipedia.
This is from IMDb.
Oh, okay.
John Raitt's only leading film role. While he cut an undeniably dashing and muscular figure on screen and possessed a high baritone unlike any other, Raitt's wooden acting and utter lack of screen presence dashed any hopes of further movie roles.
Oh my God.
Wow. Utter lack of screen presence.
I mean, I don't buy that they have chemistry in any way.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think the Sapphics would love Doris Day. There's just something about her.
There is.
There's something about her.
Sapphics, please write in.
Sapphics, write in.
What is it about Doris Day?
What is it about Doris Day? It's the haircut for sure. That's part of it. And the voice.
And the voice.
And then one of the backup dancers in Steam Heat, Kenneth Leroy, after this finishes shooting, he goes back to New York to originate the role of Bernardo in West Side Story.
Wow.
Kenneth Leroy went to originate Bernardo. I just want to be clear about that. But that's it. That's all the fun facts I have for this one. So shall we talk about it? The best part of this movie is the costumes. Every single scene, I was like screaming, crying, throwing up. There was gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
I was like so overwhelmed by the amount of fabric, the way like, especially the picnic scene, like the way everything moved and like, I'm not trying to do trad. I'm not trying to do trad cats or whatever. I'm not here for that. But there is like this aesthetic of the 1950s that is like so visually pleasing because there's so much fabric, and now we don't have as much fabric, so there's just nowhere for your eye to like move. Like fabric doesn't move like this because first of all, fabric is plastic now. There's no real fabric anymore. I just feel like I'm so sad that I can't like see this in real life. I love the costumes of this film. Every single scene, I was so happy.
I'm not as, completely enamored with the mid-century aesthetics as Adam is. I agree that the colors are lovely and it was very fun to look at the costumes, but I don't know that I'm at more of like a 7 out of 10.
What's your ideal vintage aesthetic, let's say?
Oh, probably more like a 20s would get me more excited. Yeah.
You love a Susie Toot.
Yeah, absolutely. I love a flapper. I love a feather and hair.
Mm-hmm. Just a big headband with one big feather. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
A plume.
No shape.
No shape. Just a straight pillar.
Yeah. I want clothes to have no fabric and no shape.
No fabric, no shape.
As we established, I grew up a nudist, so that's why.
Right. Yeah. That feels most comfortable for you. Do you have one?
Favorite aesthetic?
Yeah.
I love disco, so
70s.
Yeah.
Boo.
I love a flared pant. I love a flared like pant. Like a bell bottom flared pant. Love it.
Yeah, what are those suits called that the guys wore in the 70s? Like the leisure suits with the huge lapels.
Yeah,
those
leisure suits.
I recently got into. There's this girl who lives in I think Washington D.C. On TikTok, and she only dresses in 1980s vintage clothing. Whoa. And so she styles her entire wardrobe. She gets a perm every 2 months or whatever. Like it's like she does the whole thing.
Yeah.
And she's so thoughtful about it. Like she'll do these like get ready with me videos, which are obviously like a trend, but it's just like, she'll be like, I think this is probably 1990s, but they still would have fit in with like the aesthetic. So I'm going to wear like, she's really thoughtful about like, picking what she wears and stuff like that and talking about the different things. She'll be like, I actually got these from my grandma. These were her like pumps. Cause she wears a lot of like, kind of like office wear from the 80s, which is like the best part of it. It's not even like teenage cool.
Yeah, like
it's
Madonna.
It's like just working girl. It's so it's so good. But I've like, because I used to really not like the 80s aesthetic, probably just because I'm like a child of the 90s. So I resented that people were so like about the 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've really gotten into it lately. That is not what this podcast is about. I apologize. The costumes in this are incredible.
No, it's about tariffs.
It's about tariffs. It's about labor. Mm-hmm. I did like her. I loved Babe's little like official cardigan at work. The like blue with a lot of patches.
Yeah, well, because they're all seamstresses, basically. So but I like some of them wore like the tape measure around their necks, and like I was so much more charmed by this than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be bad, but I thought it was going to be like
fine,
completely unmemorable.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, I don't think like there's a ton of songs here that I would be like, oh my God, this is like a classic. But there were a couple even that I was like, oh, this is like really interesting and fun.
Yeah. So like what they were like, how they were staging it and the movement that they were doing was like so striking. Like I really like all of the factory scenes. Like,
yeah.
From the dance numbers, like I'm sure we'll listen to it, but even the like when they were taking their break and they were all sitting on the stairs, like just like gossiping, I was like, this is so interesting to look at.
Yeah,
I did. While I don't have Adam's level of energy for it, I had the thought during the picnic scene of, oh, I think I'm going to add this to my list of like movie musicals I want to show my kids one day.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
There's some problematic stuff in it. That's for all. Yeah, because I want to do about labor rights. Yes, there's some problematic stuff in it. There are in all the musicals I already like, right? But I was like, this I could see like, you know, showing a 9-year-old like, hey, let's sit down and watch this for family movie night. I feel like would be really fun. Yeah.
There is for sure two little kids playing quote unquote cowboy and Indian. And I was like, oh boy, it's 1957, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah. Well, there's also the like, hey, look at everybody chasing each other up trees at the company picnic. Everybody sexually harassing one another.
Oh yeah. But that also feels very, I mean, it's all of the same time period, like when these are written, obviously. But that really gave me the lusty month of May too from Camelot.
I think it's just that like the courtiers of King Arthur are like so far removed, but like people crossing boundaries at work is like still a very current problem. I think it's why it was like a little harder to remove yourself from it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that for sure, I think we've become more cognizant of like, hey, don't, what is it? Don't shit where you eat. Is that the term?
Unfortunately, yes, it is a term. Yeah.
So like it's probably not recommended to sleep with your boss or not sleep with, but have. So
like the whole thing with Sorokin and Babe is like could be a problematic dynamic, but they're obviously both consenting to be in it. But like in the picnic scene, there's like literally a part where they're like, he's chasing so-and-so up a tree. Hope his wife doesn't find out. And I was like, there's no line in here that indicates that like the woman being chased up the tree would like to be in this situation. That was the part where I was a little more like, ooh.
Yeah. Also the idea of company picnics.
Fierce.
Just the idea of picnics.
Picnics. Yeah. If I had a coworker that could throw knives, absolutely, I'd be peer pressuring them to do that at every company picnic.
Yeah, it's like their party trick. Like, hey,
yeah, he's not good at it though. That's the problem.
No, that is the downfall in that scene for sure. He's also very.
I don't know why it's his like thing. Like he's.
I think because he's not always drunk. I think the drinking is maybe a newer issue. Is what I was taking
because of the distrust that
because
he has.
Of the distrust with Gladys.
The distrust of Gladys.
Can I say though, I'm so confused. Are these? Do you think those are traditional like circus knives? Why
That's
were they
what they look like? They're
that?
Like big.
They're like paddles.
Yeah. So I wonder if. Did he have a previous life as a carny or something?
Adam, why would I know what a traditional circus throwing knife looks like? What about
from your years on the road together? With the Ringling Brothers? I assume
Doesn't Gladys say something about meeting him when he was on the stage or something like that?
She did
I
say that.
He did.
It was like a vaudeville probably or something.
Yeah.
No circus studies in your PhD?
For your doctorate, you didn't have circus 304?
I did not take Circus 304. No, I swapped that for another elective.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so I've talked about the costume.
Well, play the little factory song because I love a good crowd song.
Racing with the Clock.
Yeah.
Time waste time.
When will old man Hassler break down and come up with our 7.5 cent raise? I can't even buy me a wreck of a second-hand car on that salary he pays.
What do you think of the new superintendent?
He's cute. He'll never last.
He's kind of fresh for a new superintendent.
I like a man with spunk.
You like a man, period.
All right, girls, cut out the laughing. Cut out the laughing. Hurry up. Tempest fusion. Tempest fusion.
Waste.
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Okay.
I love just the like visual. You accept that like if they work with fabric, then they dress up in multiple patterns. And
I love the idea. The best part of this movie is that in a real factory where you're making the same garments over and over, it's just the same fabric over and over and over.
Right.
But every single person is working on a different pattern of pajama.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like it's such a visual feast, especially for something that is. There are like 4 sets in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Like they really do not leave. It's like the factory, Babe's house, the picnic.
And then they have the protest
and the hideaway. So 5 sets.
Yeah.
No, because the hideaway is then where they have the Follies number at the
Follies
end.
number.
The Pajama Follies number. Molly, there is a scene in this that I was very concerned for you.
Oh, was it the mannequins?
It was the mannequins.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for thinking of me because I was stressed.
I don't know how this keeps happening.
I don't know. Why is it
we are watching a movie about garment making, so that's I guess fair
it does
enough.
make
For some reason, this phobia keeps.
So maybe the phobia developed because of watching movie musicals. Maybe I never made this connection, but it actually comes up surprisingly frequently.
But this isn't what's the thing where you're supposed to this isn't exposure therapy for you? You're not being cured watching these?
You know, that's a very well peer-reviewed approach to anxiety, but I find sometimes not helpful for me, to be honest.
Okay.
It's not your preferred method.
I have developed a thing about parking, like not even parallel parking, but like I get very nervous about hitting another car when parking, and that has now extended into anyone parking. Like I get nervous if anybody else is parking around
near
me.
You?
And so I tried to look up videos of like people
getting into
accidents in parking lots.
God, Molly.
So like slow accidents.
It was like funny accident because of course like there has to be a reason that somebody put it on the internet. So it was supposed to be like, look at these dummies.
Parking fails. Yeah.
Parking fails. Yeah. It was like from 2008, like parking fail compilation.
360p. Yeah.
And I'm still anxious about parking and it didn't really work. So if anyone has any suggestions,
Adam,
let me know.
It's great because you live in Southern California, which is known for its robust transit. So you never really have to.
You never really have to parking anywhere.
Well, so actually, that might be the real thing with the exposure therapy. So I famously walk to work, which is really exciting. But I actually don't drive my car that often. That might actually be why it's just like not a thing.
You don't drive your car because for 3 months you've just been sitting and staring at the wall waiting.
That's been the thing.
Waiting for us to send you the link to log in. At the 2 times Adam got in a car accident. No,
one.
I thought
it was in a parking lot.
It was to a parked car, right?
Oh.
Are you talking about? When are you talking about?
Well, this last one, but you said this happened before too.
In high school, yeah.
In high school,
yeah,
you hit a parked
like
car.
junior year of high school.
You hit a parked car.
It had snowed, Molly. It snowed, Molly. And
no, why are you doing this? Why are you doing
I was running late to school, and so I just cleaned off enough of the windshield.
Famously dangerous.
The famous risk
just
Midwestern drivers have to take.
The story that all driver's ed teachers in the Midwest tell people: don't do this.
Don't do this. Car next door on the street. I had just left
the driveway.
I called my mom like 2 minutes later crying, and she was like, "What's happening?" And I was like, "I hit the car next door." So she like walked outside and she was like,
"Oh
Jesus
my God,
Adam."
So you feel like that was a helpful story to tell me after I talked about my phobia?
So yeah, stay alert.
Exposure therapy.
Yeah.
I think I like all the crowd stuff in this. I do really like the amount of side characters that feel like distinct characters.
Yeah,
is really fun.
totally.
Like it's not just
It's not just
there's not like two
copy-paste.
other people, which I think is like the Rodgers and Hammerstein method is like the main couple, the B couple, and then like one other person.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's so many characters in this, and they're also, I don't know, this is such like a warm little show. Like it's
no surprise why this is a good high school show, because there's a good amount of
good chorus
parts.
Good chorus songs, and I don't even know what I was saying. Let me continue. I'm going to edit that out.
There was a moment when we first watched it, when it started, that I got emotional watching the chorus numbers, just because I was like, wow, it's been so long since we watched Wicked in November, but still, like, since November, like,
that's so different.
Yeah.
Wicked was
no, just
so
like
different.
we've like watching a movie musical and so long.
Just generally.
And I was like, there's just something so satisfying when everyone is doing the same thing, like everyone is dancing the same steps, and like you said, the dresses and the movements also move well with the choreography, so it's just so satisfying to see it.
Also, this was sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just want to say this was a great return movie. It's very it's quintessential musical theater.
Didn't you just pick it randomly from like the list of like, these are movies that we...
Yeah, it was just like a movie that I'd always wanted to... I've never seen A Doris Day. So I was like, I was like, well, let's just do the Pajama Game because I have to throw a trailer in for the end of Wicked anyway.
And I'm trying to remember, was it your mom who was like, you got to watch A Doris? Someone I feel like mentioned to us that like, you got to watch one of the Doris Day films.
I don't know if it was my mom. I think it was
it a mom?
I think it was
energy?
Molly's mom.
Oh,
it might have been. My mom does like Doris Day, but the movie that she always had us watch was The Man Who Knew Too Much, which was a Hitchcock film.
Oh yeah, I think she was nominated for an Oscar for that, actually.
Maybe, yeah. So I obviously know that she is like, I know that she had a lot of music and was in musicals and stuff, but it's not. I don't think of her maybe first as a musical theater actress.
Right.
Yeah, her career originally started in 1937 at the age of like 15 as a big band singer. So I think that's why that her voice is so like,
it's so brassy.
Yeah, she's a brassy dame.
Was she? How much is that doggy in the window? Is that her?
I don't know.
Doggy.
Is there a quintessential recording of that song that I'm unaware of?
How much is that dog? That's Patty. It's Patty Page.
Oh, Patty Page. Sure. Okay. Apart from the chorus, and I have to say, great chorus in this. Oh, also the other thing I want to talk about, I remembered just now what I had forgotten 5 minutes ago. The beer drinking. There's so much beer referenced in this, and I feel like,
is that an Iowa? Like, I was like, is it because
I think it's like a working class thing.
A working class.
But I feel like all the musicals that I'm so familiar with, where it's like, oh, they're drinking, they're all period pieces, and it's like a tavern song or whatever.
Yeah.
As opposed to like this, which is like, it's supposed to be like it's like contemporary when it's made.
Yeah.
So it was interesting there's something about like the 1950s that I feel like, I know we were drinking. I know people were drinking. I'm not an idiot, but there's something about drinking beer in like a 1950s movie musical that I'm like, that's unique.
Yeah.
We're doing that.
Like a, are you allowed to even reference beer? Is that the feeling?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I always have the same, like when we got into K-pop, the thing I always was so shocked about is like the K-pop, the singers, they'll always do these like little variety shows and they're always like drinking beer. Cause like, obviously, like Korea has every nation on earth has a big drinking culture, but like Korea has a big drinking culture. And so it's not weird for them, but because they didn't go through this like weird puritanical like nonsense. And also then like the 20, like there's still like, I don't think I could ever like easily find like Taylor Swift downing like a beer. Like it would be weird to find that. I feel like it's always something about like, I think beer specifically, cause it's so coded as like not high class, like it's like
in a way that so like you feel like if Taylor Swift like went on a live stream and she was drinking a glass of wine, it would be different than if she was drinking a pint of beer.
Because there's something about like wine is like the concept around wine is that you like savor, you enjoy it, you're drinking it because it's like a beverage as opposed to like I'm drinking a beer. It's practically water.
I think I have less of that association. Maybe it's because I used to live in Wisconsin for 6 years.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
I think, well, and I think also now there's like a hipster beer culture So it would depend very much on the kind of, if she was drinking like a Natty Light, I feel like that would be news.
Yeah.
But if she was drinking like an artisanal IPA, like it would be kind of the same. So it depends on the kind of beer, I think.
Yeah. But I also feel like gays don't drink beer.
Oh,
I'm not saying that holistically, obviously, but
no, I've never seen a gay person drink a beer. So that's a really good point.
No, never. The first one to do it was
Mayor Pete.
Sure, Mayor Pete.
Yeah.
Sir, for $1, name a gay person, and I couldn't. I simply couldn't name one. Okay, so the chorus, great. Should we talk about
your favorite
Sid and Babe?
Oh. Are you saving your favorite?
I'm saving Gladys for the end. Are you kidding? Of course. Iconic. Should we talk about Sid and Babe?
Sid and Babe.
Yeah.
Sid and Babe.
Who do we want to talk about first? We want to start with John and his wooden performance.
Let's talk about, look, the voice of an angel.
So you have to play the song.
Yeah.
Father of Bonnie Wright.
Oh, I thought that, the last name seemed familiar. There you go.
Hey there.
Hey there.
Oh, this is the memo?
This is the memo.
Yeah.
Someday she'll come to you.
Ah, shut up.
Better forget her. Forget her. With her nose in the air. With her nose in the air. You dancing on a string. A puppet on a string. Break it, and she won't care. She won't care for me. Will you take this advice I hand you like a brother? Or are you not seeing things too clear? Are you too much in love to hear? Is it all going in one ear and out the other?
The bit of the song that he sings into this memo and then it sings back to him and he duets with himself is also kind of brilliant. Like I was like,
oh my God.
Great.
I couldn't, but like I was like, this came out in the 50s. Like I would be impressed if a movie musical now.
Did that now?
They had that technology.
It would be a voice. It'd be someone on a voice note. On their iPhone.
I will say I didn't know that he was making a memo when the scene first started because he starts doing the memo and then he gets interrupted. Mm-hmm. I thought he was like, it was like one of those like letting the receptionist know like some like notes or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And then obviously the scene continued. I figured it out, but this song is so pretty. And then multiple songs from this musical ended up being covered by contemporary artists of their time. And this song was covered by none other than Rosemary Clooney.
Yeah.
And it went to #1 on the Billboard chart.
Wow.
So I'm obviously going to have to play it.
Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made a fool of you. You used to be too wise. Hey there, you on that high-flying cloud. Though he won't throw a crumb to you, you think someday he'll come to you.
What's there to say? I mean, the voice of an angel.
Legend.
Voice. Two angels singing a lovely song. Mm-hmm. A yearning song for those who found themselves above love. Yes, and from a man. Which
I feel like is not often the case. I think
men yearn.
The women
can yearn too.
The yearning song. They both
indicate a yearn.
They both do get a yearning song. Hers is a little more jaunty. Hers is like, they all just want me to get a man.
Yeah, it's a people will say we're in love.
Yeah.
She had a very she had a very Nelly energy to her, which I enjoyed.
Well, kind of. I felt similar because I think Nelly is so also very brassy and definitely the same like alto energy.
Yeah.
But the thing that I think is different, obviously, is Nelly obviously we're We're speaking about Nellie Forbush from South Pacific.
Familiar listeners.
Nellie is a cockeyed optimist, so she wants to fall in love really easily. Whereas Babe's whole thing is that she like can't fall in love super easily.
Yeah.
And listeners, she does.
And guess what?
And she does.
She does.
You know what's actually even more on point is Brigadoon, that lady.
Oh, yes. The magic lady.
Yeah. Speaking of Sid Charisse.
Yeah.
Magic Scottish lady.
Right. Whatever her name is.
Whatever her name was.
Babe
Brangakana or something like that.
Babe McWilliams.
It's probably like Sarah or something really basic.
Yeah. I don't think, Sean, I already said it at the top. I don't think they have the best chemistry. This is not a couple where I was like watching the movie being like,
kiss already.
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah. I don't think he's wooden overall. Like, I think he has an interesting kind of stage screen presence, but it does feel like I whatever the scene is, the song where it's like a woman who loved a man, blah blah blah, and I was like, they are giving two stellar individual performances that have nothing to do with each other.
Yes. Yeah. It felt like they were performing it on stage, like Steam Heat. Like it was like like two people on stage.
I think it's not surprising. So he originated this role on Broadway. He also was the original Billy Bigelow in Carousel. He was Chicago company of Oklahoma's Curly.
Yes, that's that type, like just
big
kind
barrel
of
chest.
Barrel chest.
Yeah. And I'm sure on stage it reads perfectly because he's just so... Like, the presence is so big.
Yeah.
And even Doris, who is not like one of the ingenues of all time, like obviously like her brand was Hardy stock.
Yes, salt of the earth.
But he like looks so big next to her that even then she still like does her like musical theater actress thing where she like leans into him or whatever.
You're getting extremely visual here. You're gonna have to remember this is an audio podcast.
I'm doing a
like, little dainty feminine,
dainty demure, very demure, very mindful. But that song, the one RJ you were just talking about, it's called "There Once Was a Man." This is the one
that I was talking about.
Molly was talking about.
Molly was talking about.
Same person. Yeah.
Oh, I thought RJ brought it up.
Marl
J. There Once Was a Man. It was my favorite song in this. Halfway through the song, I was like, this is so cool. Like it's not what I was expecting from this movie at all in any way. This like kind of unique sound because it's a
little bit more country western. Actually.
Country western specifically, country western.
Yeah.
Let me play it.
Saloon.
There once was a man who loved a woman. She was one he slew a dragon for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as he. But me, I love you more.
Tell me!
And there once the man who loved a woman. She was one he gave his kingdom for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as he. But me.
Yeah, I loved this immediately.
It reminds me of what old TV show is that like
Bonanza?
Yeah, Bonanza. That's
Bonanza's theme song.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Bonanza, but I think that we're getting at a theme, which is like this musical has very, I want to say progressive music. Like they do a lot of interesting things with music in a way that musicals from this era are usually much more
cut and paste,
more like homogenous in their tone. Yeah.
Well, especially like all of the musicals basically after Rodgers and Hammerstein for like the next 10 years after they do Oklahoma, everybody's just trying to recreate that formula, even like down to the music style. And I think obviously there is very much a golden age energy about this musical. I'm not saying that it is not also living in that realm, but I was like multiple songs. I was like, oh, they're actually like the songs vary enough that I'm like, oh, these are individual songs. Whereas like, sometimes you'll be like, oh, all these songs. I feel like contemporary musicals. I feel like all the songs are like, it's the same song over and over and over.
Yeah. This feels like it's like a transition musical between season 1 and season 2 of Schmigadoon.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Some more interesting things with the music. We have the like pure Fosse number. Like it's like in the realm of Golden Age, but they're starting to experiment into that 60s, 70s experimental type
like
stuff.
Funkier stuff.
Yeah.
Totally, completely. My favorite part of this number was their little duet together. They're so good in this song that I agree that they're not giving a performance together, but she is so
She's like matching
brassy.
Yeah.
And he's so loud. I was like, oh my God. It's just, again, like the dynamic not being the normal, like strong guy, like the strong guy, weak girl kind of like traditional musical format.
I think like makes sense because, you know, their whole conflict ends up being like, they're not backing down from their like job, their duty, right? In the plot. So it's like,
but it's interesting too,
the personalities have to like match.
This takes place in Iowa. And I was like, oh, it's actually, the dynamic is very similar to Harold and Marion from The Music Man. Like she's older. She's like a little bit of a spinster. Like she hasn't found her man or whatever. There's just not as much like brassiness, but also I'm so familiar with the original film that I'm like, maybe there is. And I've never seen that performance in that way specifically. But it was funny that I was like, wow, we have so many musicals
from
Iowa
with kind of like this dynamic.
So interesting.
I think that Iowa is just a lot of people's like literal, like most middle of the country place they can think of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I grew up just north of Iowa and they're not wrong. So
it's true.
A quick 4-hour drive.
Yep.
To Des Moines.
It's 6, I believe.
No, 4, because it's 6 for Chicago.
Oh, 6 for, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were saying from here.
No. From the Twin Cities.
The bit when we go back and they slow down.
Her song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, or does she talking when they slow down in the factory?
The slowdown in the factory.
Well, she sings a song that's slowed down too, right?
Oh, you're talking about her when she's sad later?
I guess they both do it, yeah. I mean, the factory does it, and then she...
So much playing with pace in this.
Yeah.
So Racing with the Clock.
She sings Hey There Reprise.
She sings Hey There
the Reprise.
Yeah. From her perspective, which is, yeah.
Can we talk about reprise versus reprise? Is there a difference?
I usually say reprise.
Listeners, can you vote?
Listeners, write in, tell us which way to say it, but just write the word reprise and we won't know what you're saying.
Tomato, tomato.
Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made a fool of you. You used to be too wise.
I gotta be honest. I fucking love in a musical when one character sings the song and then their love interest reprises it later in a sad way.
It's great.
I also think that this doesn't happen in Music Man, but what does happen in Music Man is they sing back and forth right before he's caught. And they sing 2 different songs and then they swap songs in the middle. That's what I love. And so it works every time. And it's it's like the metaphor of like they know each other so like they're so in love. They're singing the same It's so good. It's so satisfying. Oh God, it's so musical theater.
Whatever happened to musical theater?
That's what we're trying to figure out with this podcast.
Yeah, that's the central dramatic question.
Yeah, I think she's just so good at this. And I was so happy that I was like, I would be so bummed if like, I don't know all of her performances obviously, but I would have been so sad if the random one Doris Day musical I chose was like, she was like not good, that I would be oh no. I was like so charmed by her this whole movie because I also can't tell how old she's supposed to be. What do you think?
Yeah.
30?
So 34? She's old. She's old for the 50s. So 24.
Well, you said she started music in like 34 and she was 15, right?
She was 15 and 37. I think she's 30. Yeah. I think she's 35 when she filmed this. Okay. I just wonder how old
she's supposed to be. They read like in their 30s, but they
read in their 30s. Yeah. He reads like 42.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know what people considered old for finding someone and getting married back in those days. So,
and also, I just want to say, there's no way we're going to touch on him a ton, but her dad is such a charming character.
I know.
Oh yeah,
with his
Just
little
like,
stamp collection.
Yeah,
working
he's just like, hey,
train.
I'm gonna look through my stamps again tonight.
It's utterly charming.
And there is like something very sweet about, her taking care of him in that way. And like, it's not a thing, right? Like, it's not like she is the provider of the family or anything like that. But there is a sense of like, she's like taking, not that he's like old, but there is a sense of like, she is taking care of him in a way.
I have a question. There's a scene after Sorokin has fired her where he comes to the house and she like doesn't want to talk to him and she's trying to brush him off. And then she's like, Dad,
we just listened to, yes.
Yeah. She's like, Dad, he wants to hear about your stamps. And I was like, I don't know if I missed a line, but like, does he actually not want to hear about the stamps? Is that like the bit that she's like, I'm going to punish this guy by making him sit here for an hour and hear about stamps?
I think that's the joke. Is that she's
like, why don't you talk to him instead? Yeah.
But there is that part too, and I also like, because they're an older couple, there's a part when they have their first like love scene together where he comes and picks her up at the house and they go like to like kiss on the bench and she's like, wait till my dad leaves. And I just like when older characters get to have like kind of those
like a young romance moment.
Young romance moment. Yeah. It's very sweet. I want to play I do want to play her song, I'm Not All in Love, which is her song.
I'm not at all in love, not at all in love, not I, not a bit, not a mite, though I'll admit he's quite a hunk of guy. He's not my cup of tea, not my cup of tea, not he, not an ounce, not a pinch, he's just an inch too sure of himself for me.
I think the only wish that I had for this that I would like, I don't think there's a way to do it. Obviously, you'd probably have to I don't know. I wish there was like she was
book adjustment.
I wish she was the president of the union. Like I wish it was like he is the,
not just like a little teamster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's just because she's a woman that they didn't make her the head, or?
I mean, I guess like technically it's supposed to match that he's not the head of the company.
Right.
He's just like
true.
a supervisor.
He's just supervising, yeah.
But I feel like I wanted her, I guess she has like kind of the same role, right? She's the head of the grievance committee. So she has like an advisory capacity. She has more responsibility than just the regular union member. Yeah. But I almost wanted her to like, I wanted there to be like a little bit, add to the friction a little bit more that she's like the president.
She can go more toe to toe with him.
I think if you were taking like a playwriting class, definitely the professor would be like, why don't you just make them the head of the company and the head of the union? Like, why not just the stakes?
Yeah. Okay. So that song was really fun. I liked all of that. I do, they get together halfway through the movie. So then, of course,
what is the act
like,
break? Did you read it? Do you know where the act break is?
I believe the act break is, no, I didn't read it. I can look in the,
because it feels like after the picnic. Well, I guess after it feels like the first act is like just them falling in love. And then act 2 is like the action. But it looks like
after he fires her is the act break.
Okay. That makes a little bit more sense.
Okay. So the picnic is not the
Act 1 finale.
Act 1 or the,
because it felt like it in the movie. I was like, oh, it's such a big, like, oh, you finally made it.
Oh, but Steam Heat is our Act 2 opener. Okay.
Yeah, Steam Heat is the Act 2 opener. Almost exactly South Pacific, because that's where Nellie does the like, she dresses up as the guy at the beginning of Act 2. And what's his name? Dresses up as, I don't remember what the song is called though. From South Pacific.
It's been so long. I'm sorry. Was that last season or was that 2 seasons
I think
ago?
it was 2.
Yeah, I think we were in our old apartment still.
The song is called, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Honey Bun. The song is called Honey Bun.
Wow, it's nothing distinctive about that. So
I'm sorry. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that it starts the same way. I feel like actually that happens a lot in a musical where they'll start Act 2 with a number that is a number in the show. Yeah. It's a number in a show.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because maybe plot wise, usually we're not at like a moment of heightened tension, but you want a big number. So like that's often how you solve it. Yeah.
Or to get the audience back into like, we're back in it.
Yeah. Like either, because like Hello Dolly, when we watched it on stage, it was like a vaudeville number of like what's his face directly singing to us.
Yes, the fucking
I put a penny in my pocket.
I put a penny in my pocket. I hated that.
But then like I think of
there's
Grease.
a reason it was cut. We didn't need to re-add it.
And then I think of like Grease, where it's like you come in and you're at the sock hop, like right. You know, there's like we're coming back into getting the audience. Yeah,
even to the point that like in The Drowsy Chaperone, obviously not a movie musical, but in The Drowsy Chaperone, it's a 1-act musical. They do not have an intermission, but he plays the record of a 2-act show. So he goes to put in the entr'acte for Act 2, and he says he's going to go to the bathroom, and it starts playing the wrong record. It starts playing a fully different musical. And so even that, which is parodying the idea of these classic musicals, has the random musical number.
Okay.
Act 2 thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steam Heat.
Steam Heat. I want to talk about, before we get to Steam Heat, because I feel like we should end with Steam Heat because it's probably the most famous. I want to talk about Hernando's Hideaway. This is so weird. Isn't it weird? Isn't it? When we watched it, I was like, what's happening?
It feels very stagey that they do the matches and stuff. And I was wondering if they change the sets while the lights are down and the cast is just lit by matches.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was like just and Adam was like, the camera can't focus because it's dark.
You know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of Bye Bye Birdie.
The ice house.
Yes, when she goes downstairs to the Shriners meeting. That's
Rosie. Yes.
Yeah, Rosie. Yeah.
Spanish Rose.
That's what this reminded me of. It's also interesting that they go to Cuba in Guys and Dolls. Was everyone just like fascinated by, because like I obviously think like we had World War II. I think a lot of people saw parts of the world they would have not seen had we not been in a fucking war, and experienced people from America that had knew other cultures, stuff like that. So I think there was like this push in the 50s of being like, you won't even believe that there's a place called Cuba. Okay, let me tell you what. It's crazy.
They drink drinks with coconut and rum.
It's nuts.
Crazy.
I think it's also that like just drawing to like Central or South America is like the laziest way of doing something like quote unquote exotic in a musical. Yeah. It's like an exotic but familiar thing to pull from.
Yeah.
And it happens so much.
It happens. It's such like a staple of the time.
Yeah.
Like, and I think like it has become a cliche because it got done so much, but I'm sure at the time everyone was like, it's titillating. It's like thrilling that this is happening.
Yeah.
So Hernando's Hideaway.
This like tango, I was like, isn't this like I know. Isn't this the like tango beat? And so I was like, did this song create this, or did they take an original tango like
the actual music itself?
Bum, 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 bum.
I know a wonderful joint.
I know a dark, secluded place, a place where no one knows your face, a glass of wine, a fast embrace. It's called Hernando's Hideaway. Olé! All you see are silhouettes, and all you hear are castanets, and no one cares how late it gets. Not at Hernando's Hideaway. Olé!
Yeah, the middle bit with the matches I think is so visually weird to do in a movie because I don't know how well it well, mostly because the camera doesn't really pick it up that well, but I was so fascinated that was the choice that they were making.
But then the actual hideaway is like just like a bar. It's just like a rooftop bar.
It's like I think it's supposed to be they're kind of in a it's like an allusion to a
it feels like the Hollywood Brown Derby. Like it feels like a nice
inside, but there's that hallway they have to get the little match from the little black boy before they walk through the dark hallway, because they do show that in the movie and it's very strange.
Yes, it was.
That it's like
I just like how you like whispered it. Like we're gonna say it, but we have to say it
because it's weird. It's so strange. It's so bizarre.
It is very strange. Yes, I agree.
And I also because I think it's supposed to be kind of like a speakeasy. It's not a speakeasy because anyone can just go. Like but it's like there's something like saucy about it.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to do a little thing there.
Yes.
Because that's why Heinze goes crazy because she went to this place with him.
Yeah. And it's packed with people.
Wall to wall people.
No open reservations. All tables are booked.
And also, I thought, honestly, as a kid who watched a lot of movie musicals growing up, I thought every restaurant had a dance floor because Harmonia Gardens had, like, I was every restaurant people get up and dance in the middle of the meal.
To be an adult and go dance.
Dancing.
But I do think I was watching like this thing about like supper clubs in the 1950s, and I do think that was really common,
like dinner and dancing.
And it would be dinner and it would be like a night out, and it would be like multiple hours that you would like spend. So I do think that was more common, but I thought that was like adulthood, was that it was like actual like partner dancing.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? I do want to go back to something you said, which is I'm pretty sure that this is not a beat that is original to this song.
It's like
I don't think I've ever heard this song before, but I like immediately felt like I could sing along. So I'm pretty sure that this is like an established melody.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a public domain thing.
I'm sure that yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm sure there's a historian. I'm sure Lucas knows. Lucas, will you let us know?
Just let us know.
Let us know why we're wrong.
We know you're itching to write in anyway.
Please tell us.
But I thought this was fun. I thought this was a nice little farce. This is all just to get me to this scene with Gladys is the funniest part of this film, which I do think there's a lot of comedy in this. It's very fun and bright and whatever. And I, was very charmed. She gets so drunk that she is so Carol Burnett in this.
I know.
And she has these like, she goes like, I'm going to go to sleep now, and slams her head.
I'm going to take a nap.
And slams her head on the table. It is peak comedy. Like if I can imagine myself if I had watched this as a child, laughing at this, replaying this over and over and over. Because the physical comedy, this is the thing. It's these people who are like dancers that also can like are so in tune with like what their body is doing.
The Danny Kaye.
The physical comedy is so peak that it's like I would watch anything you do. I would watch anything this woman did. Unfortunately, she died a few years later. But
oh God,
I don't know why. I think she had like lung cancer or something. I don't think it's like.
I think it was addiction related.
Oh, was it?
I think so. Okay. I can look it up again, but I looked her up after watching it. Yeah. No, it was pneumonia. The cause was pneumonia complicated by diabetes and alcoholism.
Oh, alcoholism.
Yeah.
Well, it was the 50s. Everybody had alcoholism. They were all drinking beer, which I'm shocked about. I really liked this whole scene. I thought this was so goofy. This is, again, very musical theater. This like none of this would happen in real life. The like, I'm going to take the girl out to get the key so I can open the safe and get the book and do the whole thing. And like, all of it's just so theatrical. And I think that is like, those are the things that really, this feels like a movie that John Waters has watched because like, it's so naive camp. Like it's very like they are not aware that they are making a campy film. And I think that's what like those are the parts that I'm like really responding to when I was watching it.
I could so see Carol Haney in a John Waters movie.
Oh, absolutely. My God, completely.
His muse.
Also, when she showed up on screen, I was like, oh, well, she's definitely doing the Fosse dance.
I know. I
know there's a Fosse dance happening at some point, and I know it's going to be her.
I was like, look at that hair. Look at that neck. Look at those lengthy arms.
Look at the limbs.
She was born to
just a set of not a torso and
this is the moment where I want to tell you why I looked her up, which is that I saw her on film and I thought so significantly that she was an inspiration for a Disney character that I was like, I must look this up because I bet it's true. And it was not there. So I think that I made this up, but maybe it was a subconscious or not acknowledged inspiration. And I want to know if you guys know who I'm thinking of.
I'm like picturing
live action or like a
not live action.
It's an animated. Oh my God. There's someone I'm like picturing in my mind, but
it's like this character. I'm thinking of Yzma, but that can't be true.
No,
it is not Yzma.
I don't know. You'll have to help.
A lesser.
How dare you?
Appreciated Disney film. I'm sure you've never seen it.
Do you know the year?
Yeah, give the year. I don't know the years.
Okay, let me find the year of the.
Adam knows the order.
And also, if this is not an actual Disney animated feature, I will.
Oh,
be
damn.
mad.
Okay, wait. Okay, give me a second to confirm that it is Disney. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Okay. 1977.
Oh, is it The Rescuers?
Yeah.
Who?
Madam Medusa.
Madam Mim. Madam Mim.
No, Madam Mim is the witch. Madam Medusa is the one with the like. She looks like this
with the red hair.
With the red hair.
Like Carol Haney.
She looks like this.
She does. Yeah.
I just felt like the whole way that Carol Haney moved,
the short hair,
the limbs, and the short hair was Madam Medusa.
I will say, when I was watching this, and I was like, she is such a specific look.
Yeah.
Like I very few people on earth look like this.
Yeah.
And she looks to me like the caricatures at like a Sardi's. Like she just looks like she was made to be caricatured. Does that make sense?
Like she has the features.
She has the features that a caricature artist would be like, oh, this is a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has a larger than life physicality to her.
Yes.
100%.
She was, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're about to say this, but she was Gene Kelly's like longtime assistant dance captain.
Yeah. She helped with American in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then Pajama Game was her big break to actually be on stage.
Yeah.
She had like really great comedic instincts. Like it was like just, I mean, even the thing when she was getting scolded, this was even before like we knew that she was going to be the featured dance role. Like she just as a little secretary, like
I think the funniest bit is when she, I think her name was Hideaway is really funny.
Yeah, the napping.
But I when she's like trying to hide behind the dress form in the office from the
knives.
She goes to call the police. She walks over and then she forgets that she's not covering herself. She runs back and then pulls it along with her. It's so funny. Her performance is so good. This is like I can understand why she won the Tony for Best Featured Actress in a musical, because this is such a musical theater featured performance. Like it's like the one that you leave and you're like, oh, I thought that was fun, but man, that Gladys girl, she was so funny, and she's in it just enough that she leaves an impression, but she doesn't overtake the piece.
This is the role that all the quirky girls that are doing theater in high school are chomping at the bit. Like if they find out
in drag,
yes,
yeah,
like you find out your drama teacher has got the rights for Pajama Game, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna start working on it
because everyone knows who's a babe and everyone knows who's a Gladys, and so
yes,
they're ready.
The two types of people.
They're two types of women. Two types of women.
And I took the Gladys less travel. Okay, that's all I really wanted to say about Gladys. I think she's great. We have to finish, of course, with Steam Heat.
Again, no clue that it was about labor. I thought it was about a streetcar or like a steam engined train.
It never even occurred to me that it was about anything.
I know.
This reminds me, RJ, didn't you do a union thing where like it was like about union? I stage managed. No, I produced a reading of 7 minutes, which is a labor play. 7.5 cents.
Yeah. At first I was like, is this the same one? No, it's called 7 minutes. And it's the play is literally like all women, and it's a labor meeting about adding 7 more minutes to their break time in exchange for, I think like either people are going to get fired or something like that. And so it's just a negotiation of the team voting.
This is when Anne Margaret comes out in Newsies as the Swedish Nightingale.
Oh yes.
At the union meeting. This is the exact same sequence, which is like, it's a union meeting, but we have entertainment for you, which I think was super common at union stuff. Like, I think there was constantly historically, like unions have always like embraced like kind of like songs and stuff like that. Like protest songs, but even just like generally like there have been like people who have done creative, like art has been a part of unions.
Yes, like the study of like, art and theater because of...
What is your source on the fact that this was a big part of union culture?
I swear to God, we talked about it in college.
Okay. I don't remember this, so I just don't want us to be spreading this information.
I'm thinking of like, what is that? Not Rock the Boat, but that one, like...
The one that was like the American, whatever. Oh my God. Art.
Labor musical. Rock the Boat?
I think the thing we have to ask is not like, have labor unions been in musicals, but like, did unions often have entertainment at rallies?
Okay, great. That's a great question. Did union rallies
Gemini
have entertainment? Music in the labor movement. This is from local 802 AFM from 2008. Labor music and labor culture have been powerful forces in American life for the past 80 years. In the 1930s, Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie and others formed the Almanac Singers, and they supported union efforts around the country, writing many songs and singing at rallies and union halls.
Okay, I will accept singing at rallies as evidence of your claim.
Thank you. Thanks, Molly. Somebody fact check me. I'm not here to do, this is a misinformation podcast. Okay. Yeah. We're leaning in 2025.
Yeah, definitely like singing in rallies is a thing.
But I think like,
I know that there are labor songs that like people would sing when they were on the picket line. I'm just saying right. Was this common to like be like, here's a speech and now here's a Fosse dance number? I don't.
But I think it would have to be these musicals aren't pulling them out of their butt. Like they're not coming up with this idea originally for their own stage. I don't know if you know this, Adam, but sometimes they add a song in a context where there's not usually a song in a musical. So. But it happens so often. What is it being pulled from? Like historically,
it's being pulled from just there's the need for a song, and there needs to be a song here.
I actually don't. I'm going to argue with you on this because I think the context of of course I don't know, but neither do you. You're arguing against it, but you don't know either.
I'm saying that we can't use this as
there
evidence.
are multiple instances of musicals that are about and they reference a performance happening at a thing. Of course, I don't think there was a Swedish Nightingale.
All the listeners are high-fiving themselves right now.
But I'm saying, I think historically,
they're taking shots
like
right
anything
now.
that would happen, there would be like a chance to like have different speakers, and like the fucking DNC, you would just have, other things happen. You would have other acts because you have to break it up. It can't just be speech after speech after speech.
I think it seems probable. I'm just saying that I don't think we have evidence that it happened.
This whole podcast is based on me not having evidence, and you're going to come at me in season 5 and now be mad about it? Where have you been?
Certainly not doing my research part for years. So
what the fuck, Molly? Molly used to come in here and be like, I read a JSTOR article. Excuse me one moment.
No, she's like, I got that
Catholicism and Sister Act.
She's like, I got that degree and I never have to open another JSTOR.
She doesn't even have access.
JSTOR academic has been journal retired in this household. Okay,
honey.
At least I'm doing the research.
Wikipedia,
which is just Wikipedia. I need someone to come in and send an email scathing Molly that I was right. I don't care if you have to lie, honestly. If you just send the email saying Adam was right.
The argument we're having is not yes or no. It's do we have the evidence?
We have evidence?
I need someone to find evidence.
Email
the links.
Email the JSTOR.
Please do the research for us and let's
please.
You know what? I'm losing my job tomorrow, so I'm gonna have a ton of time to go find these fucking links myself. So the next time we record, I'm gonna be like, Molly, here. Just Lamb's papers.
If you can use your time to find me a way to get JSTOR access again, then I'll give you one article per 3 episodes.
Okay. We like those odds.
So they do steam heat. Which is fun.
And it's a great number.
It's a great little number.
I used to think it was a steam engine. It's not. It's the little machines that in the factory.
Well, I think it's a metaphor that they're steam is the like they're
them.
Yeah, it's they're the machines, but also they're getting worked up.
They're steam. They're getting steamed.
Cooker.
They're getting steamed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still laughing about this.
In this very factual performance that would have happened in a labor
it's so crazy how they just cut in the middle of this to document.
I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to make us watch The Music Man, and I'm going to be like, historically, there would be a mayor that would read at the 4th of July picnic. He would read the Gettysburg Address, and Molly would be like, well, there's no evidence that anyone's ever read the Gettysburg Address even.
Adam's going to start giving us facts that are like inarguable. Like historically, there have been mayors.
Historically, unions did exist. They barely do anymore, but historically they did.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's play a little bit of steam.
Play me a little steam heat.
I got steam heat. I got steam heat. I got steam heat. But I need your love to keep away the cold. I got steam heat. I got steam heat. I got steam heat. But I can't get warm without your hand to hold.
The sequence is so long. I have to imagine in 1957, the audiences were like,
"Oh, they're still going happening? At it. They're still bopping their heads."
I also feel
she's dressed like a man.
I feel like it's never been less worthwhile for us to play the music of like the point of this is not the song.
It's not the song. It's the visuals.
I really would encourage everyone to look it up.
His sound.
His sound.
Look
the
it
sounds
up.
of Fosse.
It's so satisfying to watch her do the S through the gap in her like two front teeth. There's just something about
the
it.
biggest mouth and lips you've ever seen in your life.
It's like whistling. It's like whistling out of her teeth. Yeah. It's so good.
But I do think, like, again, like There Once Was a Man, the song is like actually interesting. Like, I think the song is unique.
Yes, that's true.
Which is nice. It makes complete sense that this is like you're coming in after intermission.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more clear. I think this is a great union piece. I really, honestly, I've been feeling really.
Yes, bring your argument.
I'm going to be so honest.
Go ahead, bring your argument that you teased at the beginning of the show.
Oh, about Newsies?
Yeah,
I don't know if I actually believe that.
He just wanted to the listeners back.
I just wanted to get Molly mad. I just wanted to steam Molly up. I think okay, here's what I'll say. I think Newsies is better for kids to understand what the point is. Mm-hmm. I think this one is a little bit more clear about like what actual unions do and what they are and how they work.
Yeah.
Cause they're not even in a union in Newsies. They're and they don't form a union in Newsies. It's just like
the act of unionizing. Yeah. The act of coming together.
Yeah. Collective bargaining.
Yeah.
But I thought like this piece was so, it just sucks that I feel like I'm like the politics in this 1957 movie musical were so progressive because I really feel like we're at the end of America right now. So I'm very anxious, Molly, and I need you to sedate me and I need you to tell me that everything's going to be okay.
Oh, I am not.
He's like, I'm not equipped
for that.
I am not equipped to tell you that.
Look, I think you're right, and obviously, I think I've made it very clear that I don't know a lot about the history of labor unions, but this does seem to align generally with my understanding of how unions work, which would be to the great chagrin of my like great grandparents, because my aunt showed me like last year we have like a high res scan of like a newspaper of like her grandfather being quoted as being in like the Philly. He was like a union guy in Philly in like the early, like the turn of the century.
You think you talked about this in the Newsies episode,
didn't you? I might have, yeah. But yes, I think you're right that like, because Newsies is them reacting and going on strike together, but it's not like an organized union. And this shows you more of like the people who are in leadership at the union. They're having rallies. They're talking with management of saying, okay, we will go on a strike unless this thing happens, like those sort of tactics. And I think it's nice that it just celebrates that. And, you know, it feels like it would be hard to have a musical feel this simple.
Yes.
But built on a labor union now.
There's something about it that really feels so American.
That's what I was telling Adam yesterday. I was like, this feels so all American.
Yes.
And yet
but not in like the way that I feel like has been tarnished. Yeah. And like now I get like the ick from it. There's like
could
an
it be
all-American thing.
American banners literally hanging behind them as we're looking at this picture of Stanley?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean the whole piece, like there's something about like the mid-century labor union, the
coming together from like
the company picnic, the country western once in the
even like them drinking song. Beers in the committee at her house, like in the kitchen, like once coming up of the idea of like what to do next.
Yeah.
Like something about that. It just feels like this feels like very Tennessee Williams, like you know, like the setting of like this is like America.
I do love that her house is like literally on the railroad tracks, and then that they use the railroad signal to like light the scene at one point. And I was like, "Girl, slay!" But also, that train needs the light to be pointed to the train and not your house.
Windows.
This is like a stoplight that's just facing into a house instead of the road, and I feel like that's a problem.
Train tracks, and then they built the house just right up next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I also like Molly want to just walk to work. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what her dad gets to do.
On the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something I think also too very like I wouldn't say this is as Midwest. Like, I feel like, in my opinion, like The Music Man feels super Midwestern to me. But obviously this does have that kind of energy as well. And it's different from the Oklahoma, where those feel more Western, like those feel bigger and more expansive. Whereas like, this is like a little community in like small town America.
Yeah, something about like it's in an industrial town. You know, like the town is centered around the factories that are here.
Well, and I can tell you, because I do know this for a fact, Molly.
Oh my God.
Okay.
That because a lot of the Midwest was German settled, but a lot of the people who left Germany were like, I want to say progressive for Germany at the time. That was why there was a lot of like a really strong labor union in the like Rust Belt specifically, was because of the German immigration. And that I know.
Thank you for bringing those.
And how do you know that?
Research.
I think I saw it on a YouTube video.
Okay, good.
Okay, sure.
But what's the difference between that and Wikipedia, really?
What's the difference between that and what we're doing?
True.
We're also on YouTube.
Is there anything else?
I feel like we got her.
My only thing at the end, I wish we got a full number of the Pajama. It felt like they show the Follies. It's like a little cute, and there is something about like, it's a parody of like corporate brand musical, like a corporate song, because it's like a song about the pajamas. Like, I really like that, but I wish they like broke out into dance, and then the end credit appeared. And I was like, oh, I want to see a number. Yeah. Even though you said like it does kind of drag a little bit, and I actually really liked the 7.5 cent song, where they like really explained what they what they're fighting,
why they were fighting for 7.5 cents.
Okay, we have to talk about this.
You didn't like that.
The actual labor song.
They decide to explain to me the significance of the 7.5 cents by talking about what it means over time. But what it gets them in 5 years is a washing machine. And what it gets them in 20 years is buying the factory in which they work. And I just don't feel like that math adds up.
No, that's right. If they pooled all their money together from the 7.5 cents and went all in and then became co-op shareholders.
I didn't understand that they were talking about a co-op agreement.
This is communism.
I felt like I liked the idea of the song, but I did that's like a funny criticism, but I did almost feel like they needed to do a little bit more substantial things with the money. Like, I was like, I feel like instead of talking about like buying a dishwasher and going to Europe, you should be like, send my child to college, or like something that's a little bit more aspirational to get people more on your side. You know?
I liked there was a line, I don't remember what part of the movie, but there was a part where they say like, we know we're not educated like you are, but we have like stuff we are demanding to, like, we deserve just as much. And I really liked that, specifically being like called out as part of like the working class kind of like narrative of this piece. Because I will say, like, it doesn't read like the people who are in management are that brilliant, to be honest. But it's nice to be reminded of these like people being like, I just live here and I work here, and that's why I deserve to like have. And they're the little things they want from the things they accumulate.
A washing machine,
it's just like a washing machine, so I can like relax a little bit. Like, it's all very, I don't know.
Practical.
It's the thing. It's
the Midwest practicality,
and it's the exact same thing in Newsies of being like, the PAPE is a 0.5 cent, but like, over time, that's going to build up, and we're not going to be able to like afford buying the papes, blah, 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 at this rate. So it's like all these little things of like, you know, it feels like it's nothing, or on paper, it looks like it's nothing, but it's the overtime value.
Yeah.
And I don't mean overtime. I mean overtime.
Yeah.
Let's move on. This has an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. Richard Brody from The New Yorker writes, I think these are not from when this was released earlier. I think these are coming out later, but The directors Stanley Donen and George Abbott bring the unusually realistic story to life with bold and graceful camera moves and imaginative staging. Bob Fosse's agile, angular choreography has the graphic appeal of modernist typography in motion. And the supporting cast features the wide-eyed, loose-limbed, and wildly spontaneous Carol Haney, who died young. I don't know why we need to say that. Camping and vamping with abandon.
Just vaping all over the place.
Camping and vaping. She was constantly on her vape, on her Juul.
I did find it distracting how often she was.
It was so distracting.
She was like, "Have you tried the mint chocolate one? It's so
the product
good."
Placement of the Juul pods was really weird.
It was so strange for 1957. The iconic songs include Hernando's Hideaway, Steam Heat, Hey There, featuring Rate in a duet with a dictaphone, and There Once Was a Man, a love song done as a foot-stomping, high-stepping hee-haw, one of the cinema's most exuberant examples of over-the-moon romantic ecstasy.
Adam, you are a high-stepping hee-haw. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. That does feel true to my roots.
Yeah, it does. Something about it.
Eric Henderson from Slant Magazine says, as the two leads swiftly flowering... I'm going to say this. Sometimes you'll read a review, and it's specifically, I feel like it's the reviews for things that came out years ago, and then they're just writing a review because like it's now on DVD or something like that. And they know no one's reading this fucking review of this DVD from a release of a 1957 movie musical. So they're just like, well, let me just get out my fucking thesaurus. I don't know what it is. It drives me up a wall. If you write like this,
right now.
if you write like this, you are part of the bourgeoisie. You are not the proletariat. Okay. As the two leads swiftly flowering romance begins to grow further apart with the pressures of the labor war, the strain is conveyed through the mechanized perfectionism of the choreography, which isn't, incidentally, confined by the musical numbers. At one point, when the workers object to their maltreatment, just say mistreatment. Fuck off.
You're sounding more and more like Cora from Downton Abbey.
Robert. They grind their physical routine to a slow motion display of protest. The centerpiece, Steam Heat, performed by the quintessentially Fosse, lanky Carol Haney and two Runyon-worthy mugs. The one on the right of the frame seems to be the only one who wears the bowler hat correctly, though. Tellingly takes place at a union meeting. The precise, almost masochistic tension release of dynamic of the dancers' movements, bodies lean back at a perfect 45-degree angle, combinations that involve standing on one's ankles, mirror Day and Rate's dangerous liaison and their guarded hope that the alliance will tip the scales of the conflict their way. Fosse's movements haven't quite calcified into the nightmare of bondage and strain that would thin out the air in his 1972 film version of Cabaret. Here, as with most musicals of the era, the exertions are rewarded with good health, a condition endorsed by the closing spectacle of Day's nude gams and Rate's bare barrel chest.
That was a really weird ending.
That's the last set. I think it said released in 1957. That's the sentence I left out. Did you see those
gams?
Did you see those nude gams?
Wow.
Molly, do you know the old woman secretary in this?
The old woman secretary?
Yeah, the only old woman in this. She has the gray hair.
Okay.
Do you not remember this character?
I don't know. I do.
She does the song with Hines, like they do.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
Okay, that's the cook from Mary Poppins. That's Mrs. Brill.
Oh.
And I was watching it and I was like, RJ, that's the cook from Mary Poppins. I have to confirm. And then I was right. And I was like, damn.
Give a little Brill. Give a little Miss Brill.
And don't stumble on the way out, dearie. That's her line when Katie Nana leaves. Anything about these reviews, Molly?
I think
you take umbrage with any of these like you took with me?
I think the last one was overwritten. I don't know that I have quite your level of anger about that fact. But, you had to find reviews from something that came out in 1957, and that's hard to do. So thanks for finding the reviews, Adam.
So
I appreciate you and the work that you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The quick Googles that you do 20 minutes before we
Excuse me, I started 40 minutes before we started. Thank you very much. But I was very excited because I was like, I bet the Pajama Game is going to have nothing. And guess what? I was right. So I was like, yes. Letterboxd says 3.2 stars out of 5. Ethan Colburn gave it 2.5 stars and said, Harassment in the Workplace, the musical. None of these are funny, by the way. I was very sad about this.
Yeah.
Jorge Mole gave it 4 stars and said, no dick is good enough to become a scab for.
And say that.
By the way, True. It's a true mantra. There's no strike in this. So no in scabs, by the way. That does not happen.
I think that they're about to strike at the final.
They're about to strike
Yes.
if it doesn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
Shane McAvoy says it's a fun little musical about chasing women with knives.
I think that's funny.
Which is true.
Yeah.
It's probably, you know what? I'm going to say this might be the only fun little musical about chasing women. I'd really have to dive deep.
Watch our inbox get flooded with like,
oh my God,
there's
so many niche things about knives. There's that one where they're like all dead from a carnival that came out like 5 years ago that everybody loves. There might be some throwing of knives in that. You know what I'm talking about?
No, it's a musical or a show?
The sequel to Phantom of the Opera?
It's a show.
Love Never
It's a
Dies?
show.
Oh.
I think it maybe actually came out at the end of college, which was not 5 years ago. Musical.
Yes, it was Molly.
Yeah, it is Love Never Dies. You're right. It is. It's Love Never Dies. I think
it's not.
It's not? Okay.
I mean, there is also Love Never Dies that maybe Ride the Cyclone. It's 2008. 2008. 5 years ago in 2008. Yeah.
5 years ago.
Not even before college, mid high school.
Anyway, we're
Emily
very young.
Nesbitt gave it 4.5 stars and said, local woman throws out feminist values to enjoy 1 hour and 40-minute musical with bops.
Oh, yeah. That's the Onion.
I didn't think this was like, it didn't give me like, oh, a woman throwing away her feminism.
No. I think
Emily said she
Emily's
watched it.
There's a famous Onion article that's like, woman throws out feminist values to enjoy 30 minutes of a TV show that's about somebody watching Say Yes to the Dress. So she's referencing that.
Great. And that's the reviews. RJ, who is your MVP?
Because I know you'll take Carol. I will pick Doris Day because I love this performance.
We love a brassy.
We love a brassy dame. Absolutely. I'm not at all in love. Not at all. Like I just love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Molly.
My MVP is the dictaphone because that was my favorite part when he did duet with the dictaphone.
I don't think
the world
watch
shook
these on a plane, Molly.
I should watch them on a plane. No.
The world shook when he duetted a dictaphone.
Yeah,
my world shook.
What's the size of that?
Look, we established that Adam gets to take Carol Haney. So what do you want me to?
Yeah. Is that your dictaphone, or you just happy to see me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm taking Carol Haney. This is incredible. She's probably going to be my best person at the showies.
Okay, it's the first episode of the season.
This is the most Adam specific energy of a performance we've ever seen.
They cast this woman and was like, someday a child will be born named Adam and he will sing your praises.
Mm-hmm.
And he will raise you up on the wings.
Molly, what's our closer? Did you remember you still did these?
I didn't remember that this was part of the show at all until about 30 seconds ago.
Okay, for the closer, name a labor movement that you would...
For $1, name a labor movement.
Name a gay person.
Doris Day?
We don't know. Maybe.
There's got to be a Doris Gay drag queen.
Oh, yeah, we can only hope.
Sure.
Oh, God. Well, I've got time.
Adam.
You've got 18.
Hi, I'm Doris Gay. I am Cedar Rapids' premier Doris Day impersonator.
I feel like you're doing a little bit of a Jennifer Coolidge in introducing Doris Gay.
Hi.
Molly, what's your fucking closer?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's the one thing you have to prepare.
I did the summary today.
I did
two things that I did.
Here, I have one if you don't have one. I have one.
Thank you.
What is the 2025
oh God
equivalent of the Pajama Factory? So something that is it's specifically 2025 we're making, but it's light enough that it's like, oh, well, they're just making pajamas, right? Like, it's not like
an Amazon warehouse.
No, it's like something about it being pajamas makes the tone of the thing a little bit more lighthearted. Like, obviously it's still serious because it's their jobs, but it's it lightens it all a little bit.
It's American manufacturing.
It has to be an American manufactured good.
It doesn't have to be, I guess.
It's just sad because I'm just like the back end coders at Pornhub is the setting of the Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, Rita.
No, it's Theranos, and it's Elizabeth. Oh my God, what is her name?
Elizabeth
Holmes.
No, Elizabeth Holmes. And they're making these little blood reading boxes or whatever the fuck.
You're all wrong. It's the chips. It's the chips factory that Biden approved.
The chips factory?
Yes, the smart chips that we have to make instead of China.
Oh, sure.
Adam, I'm not reading the news in this way.
That's not light. Okay. Is that light?
This is Arizona. Girl, it's your home state. Well, it's your high school state.
It was my first state.
It's the chips.
Oh, okay.
The CHIPS Act. Do we know?
Well, I was like, is it like that's the thing that's sad is like, what? We don't manufacture anything anymore in America.
Support domestic chip manufacturing. Ruffles. Lay's.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I think it's a candy factory. I think it's like
no, it can't be candy. That's too Willy Wonka.
I do think potato chips could be fun.
Frito-Lay. Yeah,
I was being a naughty person or whatever is the word for like I was trying to.
It's not Pornhub. Your answer isn't Pornhub.
I was trying to subvert your question because I'm tired and I'm sorry, but I do think that like people who are
Molly,
coding.
It's 8:30 for you. It's 8:30 p.m.
It's late for me. That's late.
It's so late.
It is dark outside of this window. I do think actually people who are like coders, but for like a silly website could be a fun setting. Like where it's like they take the job very seriously, but the thing that they're doing is like selling tokens in a game or something, where it's just kind of like meaningless.
Well, websites aren't fun anymore. Back in the day, like Club Penguin,
Okay, it's the coders at Club Penguin. It's a period piece set during the height of Club Penguin.
Period piece.
It's the visual effects artist set for Marvel movies.
And then you could have it be, some of it could be the people who work at Club Penguin, and then some of it could happen in Club Penguin.
In Club Penguin, some of the dance move, the dance numbers.
Steam Heat is in Club Penguin.
Second act opener.
Second act opener is in Club Penguin. It's like the screen. It's just 3 penguins.
No, dancing. It's if you want to do current, it would be what's that stupid game with the Roblox? But it's
Roblox. Oh, Dress to Impress. It's Roblox. Actually, yeah, it's Roblox.
I hate all these answers. By the way, I think mine's the only one that's fun.
I don't think that manufacturing chips to put in technology is like that whimsical of a product. I'm sorry.
I like potato chips. I like Frito-Lays.
I think potato chips is fun. I think that we collectively settled on one good idea. It's a Frito-Lays factory, and then there's a number that happens in Club Penguin.
Okay, well, thank you as always for tuning in to yet another episode of...
It's funny because Molly's camera is off, so I'm just hearing the wheezing laugh of a woman.
Thank you for watching and listening.
I missed you guys.
And
she's like, I miss you. Now I can finally leave my room.
Oh, it's so lovely to be able to leave.
We'll take it away. RJ will take it away with Hernando's Hideaway.
Ooh. Why me?
Da 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 brum da 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 Hernando's Hideaway. Ole. Thank you for listening to Showgays, a Cinemusical podcast. This episode was edited and mixed by Adam Noecker. This has been an Ampliverse production. You can find the Ampliverse on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at the Ampliverse. Check out our full roster of shows at theampliverse.com. If you'd like to send us your own takes on the movie we just watched, reach out to us via email, and we might just read it aloud on the show. Our email is showgaysmoviemusical@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and please rate, review, and subscribe to help others find the show. And now, as always, the show must go on, so stick around to hear what we'll be watching next episode.
For every band, there is a moment when they know they have made it. For one band, this is not that moment.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. You're a great crowd.
Okay, girls, we need the lane now. And your shoes.
They were three small-town girls with big-time dreams.
Who's a rock star? I am.
Who wanted to share their music with the world.
We can't sit around here waiting for it to happen. We are musicians. We should be out there playing music. We do play.
Nobody believed in them.
You know, you suck.
But they believed in themselves.
We're special. Yeah, special ed.
Now, in a world of tough competition,
And that is so sad.
fate is giving the Pussycats the chance of a lifetime.
We'd love for you to sign with Mega Records.
How am I gonna pull this off? I'm a girl from Riverdale. I'm not a rock star.
You gotta believe in yourself.
Things are finally going their way. But between the mania...
Is that Josie?
They're gonna be huge.
The managers.
We decide everything. What's hot and what's not. Welcome to your party. Who else thinks that Fiona's a freak?
And the media.
We're gonna be on TRL?
This may be the toughest gig they've ever played.
Have you noticed that everything has sort of become all about Josie?
Josie.
Josie.
Josie. Spin around. I made you a rock star. Tell me you don't love that. Forget it. You know, I never liked you. No matter what happens, we will always be friends first. Are you gonna kill me with the guitar?
You messed with the wrong pussycat.
My bad.
Josie and the Pussycats.